Chris Brown from Elevation Worship, welcome. Thank you so much for your time.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Your background is much more futuristic than mine. Where are you?
Well, I'm in my studio, or our studio, I should say. Our churches. It does look so grand, right? Stately.
I love it.
Oh.
Now, for someone that might not be familiar with Elevation Church, although I would say I have watched and tell me, has it just exploded now that church has gone online and virtual and just more and more people are finding the podcast and the stream and your music? Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about where you're based out of and your pastor and your music?
Yeah, sure. So we're in Charlotte, North Carolina, and so on the other side of the country, and we're almost 15 years old as a ministry, and we have been very blessed for I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years now. We've been we've had a heavy focus on online ministry, online church on the weekends. So when everything hit in March, it was a bit like we do this every single weekend in terms of the broadcasting, the technical aspects. It's just what's been a high priority for us to reach people that can't actually aren't from Charlotte or at one of our other campuses. So we have several physical locations though in Charlotte and a handful outside of North Carolina. But obviously for the last 6 months or 7 months, it's all been just a few of us in the room and online.
Yeah.
EFAM is what we call them. We call them EFAM, Extended Fam, Elevation Fam. So yeah.
And have you noticed that family grow larger?
We have, yeah. I mean, what an amazing time to provide hope, right, for people, and the engagement on Sundays when we're live every Sunday morning, and the engagement, and we have amazing volunteer teams and staff teams that are just right there chatting along with people while sermons are going and while worship is happening. And but yes, we've seen the EFAM grow over the last several months.
And for some that are just simply familiar with your songs, let's just start that list, because I would say that some of the music that we get comments on the radio station that is the most meaningful to people right now is See a Victory and Do It Again and Oh Come to the Altar, and recently Graves into Gardens. You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is we wrote Graves into Gardens, the song, about a year ago, last September, actually, in 2019. And we're just ecstatic about the song. We hadn't introduced it to church. We weren't sure if it was if it was gonna go well at church or not. Much less beyond our church walls. But we knew we loved the song so much that we decided to actually go ahead and title the upcoming project that we were planning to release in 2020, Graves into Gardens. Of course, at that time, last fall, we had no idea that the world would be shutting down, and so the entire thing just feels like, now in hindsight, feels very God orchestrated, that we would write a song and then title an album that is all about resurrection, and we'd be releasing it in May of 2020. And so the songs do feel timely, even if they, God kind of gave them to us up to a year ago, or but the whole album is really centered around, like I mentioned, resurrection. And there's a brighter day coming. There's we're just trying to give people faith to believe that, even though right now, especially, there's a lot around us that seems quite despairing, that Jesus specializes in resurrection. He specializes in turning things around. And so Graves into Gardens is just, I feel like it's life-giving, and it's anchored in scripture, and it's a faith-filled song. And so I'm thrilled that, it's reaching people and ministering to people the way it is.
If you had to pick a line from the song that stands out to you most? A lyric?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to not choose the title lyric, um, you turn bones into armies. It's all like it all stacks on one another, right? Like starting with God, you turn mourning to dancing, give beauty for ashes, things that are from scripture and Psalm 30 and in Isaiah as well. But then the flip, you turn graves into gardens. It's like, let's go, man, come on. Like that's, you turn bones into armies and then seas into highways. It's just every time, and we've been leading it since like last October. So we introduced it to our church either October or November of last year. And still to this day, when we do it, even if nobody, there's 12 people in the room because of COVID, I still just my blood gets going, man.
Yeah.
It's such a good faith song.
That's one of my favorite things about the way that you lead worship is you can tell you've got that let's go, like that fire inside of you, which comes out with your song Rattle. Let's talk a little bit about, I know that was kind of, you guys did that at the Easter service, wrote it with your pastor, and he was like, this is the Easter message, and it goes with the song, and you played it. It's a very long song, way too long for radio, the version you did on Easter. But yeah, you get that igniting inside of you when you play it. Talk a little bit about Rattle.
Yeah, I mean, it as a song, it's one that we were talking about this just a bit ago, you and I and a few others, but it's one of those that we like found ourselves being transported back, to when we were 14 years old and having so much fun from a musical aspect and the energy that was in the song. And like even we're laughing as we were writing it kind of out of our minds because like what are we doing? Like we haven't felt this type of energy in a song in quite like since we were kids. And it just felt like we were back in the garage at like our parents' house, and music was way too loud and we barely knew how to play instruments, but we just believed so much in what we were singing. So it started like that. And then honestly, on Palm Sunday, the weekend before Easter, we were still writing the song, and Pastor Stephen, after church that Sunday morning, and if you remember, like we were maybe a month into COVID and quarantine here in the States at that point. So it was still very, very fresh, like everything that was going on in our country and world. So it's Palm Sunday, and we were still kind of writing it. And at that point, it was like, this is a really fun song. Don't really know what it is, what's going to unlock it. And Pastor Stephen, after church, he was like, I think I have like the thing is like, I'm coming out, I'm going to live again. And it was this like, the sentiment and the energy behind that lyric, open the grave, I'm coming out, I'm going to live again. It flipped everything, and it kind of even grounded like, whoa, this isn't just something we're kind of like playing around with, having fun. And then over the next couple of days, the lyrics just continued to be honed in to the point where like, yeah, the Tuesday or Wednesday before Easter Sunday, so just a couple days after Palm Sunday, it got finished. The first time we ever did it was on Easter Sunday, broadcasting, and we lived in the song for like you mentioned, it was way too long for radio. We lived in the song in and out of his message. So it is the Easter message. It is about resurrection and about what God can do. And so I don't know we've had any other song come about the way that one has. And we've certainly never just gone, we believe so much in the timeliness of this song, aside from the blessing maybe, which is obviously has a totally different energy. But that we would finish writing it and immediately bring it to church, and like in a matter of days, and really not know what's going to happen. So but Rattle did that, and as well as the blessing. So
Yeah. What do you think it is about music that impacts us the way that it does more than just speaking with words?
I don't know. I mean, like melodies just have a way of getting um touching different emotions. And I mean, I remember some of the most grounding things for me would actually be at my grandparents' house, and I can picture being 7 or 8, and a lot of my aunts and uncles and my mom being around the upright piano in my grandparents' house, and all of them singing hymns. And at that age, I was kind of had an understanding of hymns, the words, that is, but the harmonies that were going on, the music that was being created by some like a hack piano player, whoever it was, my aunt or my uncle, but all the voices and just having fun, and what it did for community and what it did for, just to encourage the atmosphere in the home. I mean, right, it's done that for thousands on thousands of years. And so I'm thankful that, like, it's crazy to me that this is what I'm doing with my life, right? Like, even getting to make music, being someone who's in a position to sing as a ministry slash profession,
Mm.
but then having the privilege of like actually pinning certain melodies that other people find kind of getting into their spirit. That's beyond me, and I don't get why I'm in the position I am, but I'm very thankful for it.
I know you're in the studio and I can't see around there. Is there a piano in there or a guitar?
There's not. Should I grab one?
Where would you have to go and search for one?
um, Probably. I mean, you want to take a trip? Are we like recording? We're recording the video.
Let's take a trip. Are you kidding? This just got good. Everyone's been like bored watching us sit here, and now they're like, yes.
Oh man, what do you give me a heads up so I can think while what you're about to ask?
I want you to find an instrument, and then I want you to play something.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt the session real quick. Hang on.
I'm
just gonna grab this guitar.
Maybe let's try a touch of vibrato on moment. Okay. And in a moment.
You have a capo?
The end part. Yeah. And in a moment. Yeah. It doesn't have to be real. I mean, just to like settle, get comfy in that.
Almost done.
In a moment. In a moment. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go find a capo real quick because I'm not a real guitar player.
As you find a capo, I'm going to have you talk about something else because you and I have a mutual love for Hamilton.
Come on. Yes, we do. I didn't know that.
Where you saw that live. I know it was twice. You've seen it live twice, right?
Hang on. So I first saw it actually on Broadway. So we were privileged to go with some friends and got to see it in New York, and then we've seen it one other time since as well. Crazy story. I actually got to see Lin-Manuel perform in it. Thank you. So have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
It's incredible. I mean, I feel like you and I would have to do a whole other interview where we just discuss it. So why don't you tell me, I mean, it's hard to even pick a favorite song and it probably changes a lot, but can you pick a time where you tear up? What makes you tear up when you watch it?
Well, I was for sure caught off guard. The first time I saw it, I intentionally had not done research and had only listened to Alexander Hamilton. So I didn't know the music and I didn't know the whole storyline. So, I mean, for sure, after Stay Alive, which leads us into It's Quiet Uptown, that's the moment, right? Like, it's so gripping. My favorite, and I teared up, like not just teared up, like I was like, no other. I love play, so I love theater, and I've seen a handful of shows over the years, and no other show had done that. My daughter's favorite is Dear Theodosia. So that's really special. She's got the whole thing memorized, and we kind of harmonized with it. And
How old is she?
she's 7.
Okay, promise me that we can do one of these, and if we can get her in it and you guys can harmonize to that, like, I don't feel like I'll need to do another interview for a year. Like, that's it right there.
I'll see if I can convince her. She's so shy.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Well, still, maybe we'll have like a watch party. Okay, so now that you've got a guitar and a capo, do you want to just close us out? Whatever you want to close us out with.
Sure.
And I'm going to put it on speaker view so that I'm not like awkwardly watching. There you go.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. And man's empty praise and treasures that fade, never enough. Then you came along and you put me back together. Every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing, nothing, nothing better than you. Lord, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you.
Thank you. Thank you for running and finding a guitar. I couldn't let you go and not have you play that. So thank you.
Well, thanks for talking with me, Sarah. Appreciate it. This has been great.
Oh, thank you. Same to you. And I'm sure we're going to hear more of your songs in the next 5 minutes on Spirit 105.3.
Oh, love it. Take care.
You take care too.
All right.
Bye.